It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Tallahassee. Welcome to Bobby Bowden Field inside Doak S. Campbell Stadium alongside Ryan Pensy. I'm Scott Kotick. And Ryan, before we really get to the ins and outs of the game, the X's and the O's, how nice is it to be home? We've been on the road for 3 weeks. We finally get to sleep in our own beds, and we get to come into this beautiful stadium here on Saturday.
Yeah, 35 days. It's hard to believe that it's been that long, Scott, but it is. It's great to be back home, and you hope that you have a similar atmosphere that you did the last time you were here when the Oklahoma Sooners came in. That is a huge advantage for the team. Yesterday when I spoke with offensive coordinator James Coley, he said how difficult it is for an opposing offense to get ready and to call plays, and we saw that against Oklahoma. We need that same fan support today here inside Doak Campbell Stadium.
As we sit here in the north end zone, the biggest thing was the student section right behind us. That was so loud the last time. How big is it more than anything for the students to show up? Because it seems like they really set the tone for everything for the game.
Well, you're absolutely right. The students need to be here, and they need to be here in full force. They need to be here and stay here throughout the game. And the biggest question I have is, where would you want to be other than here today? And this is a gorgeous day. You only get a few opportunities to watch your team play at home, and this is where you need to be if you're a student at FSU.
Let's get right down to the game. The X's and the O's. First, on the offensive side of the ball, how important is it for the Noles to establish the run game? That's got to be one of the biggest keys today.
Well, it is, and we saw last week if the Seminoles are a multi-dimensional offense, they are very dangerous. I believe that Devontae Freeman is going to get the majority of the carries today. We've seen throughout his career he's a much different back when he has lots of opportunities on the ground. If he can get multiple opportunities and start to really hurt that depleted Maryland's linebacking core, we should be in good shape, and that's just going to open up more opportunities for E.J. Manuel downfield.
The Maryland defense has 10 injuries on that side of the ball. Hard to believe they've got so many guys out. The big thing is if Devontae doesn't get all the carries, E.J. only has to throw 13, 14 passes like he did last week at Duke. Switching sides, Maryland's offense loaded this year. C.J. Brown, a freshman quarterback, really can do a lot of damage to us if we're not careful today.
Well, you're absolutely right, and who would have thought that the ACC Freshman of the Year last year, Danny O'Brien, wouldn't be their starter throughout the season. Randy Edsall, first-year head coach for the Maryland Terrapins, saw something that he liked in Brown, and I think it's the ability that he has to run. He's a dangerous quarterback, but this will be his first opportunity on the road. He's a freshman quarterback. How will he be able to handle this pressure? I think for Florida State, though, defensively, you just got to do what you do. You know, play your position. Don't try and do too much, because I think we see too many times with these mobile quarterbacks, a guy tries to break away from his play, something happens, and the guy takes off for 20 yards. Just stay at home today.
His favorite target last week was a tight end Furstenberg. In Florida State's history, most fans out there know we've had issues covering the tight end in the past. Ryan, let's get right down to it. What are your keys to the game for Florida State to move over 500 on the season and really get things going here in the ACC?
Well, that's number one defensively. You've got to keep an eye on Furstenberg. And if you watch the film from last week, what he likes to do is to kind of come across the middle and just wait as a safety valve, almost a little bit deeper than where the center would be. So you keep an eye on him, because once he gets the ball, that's when he's most explosive. So take care of Furstenberg, keep an eye on Brown, and I think you're good defensively. Offensively, it's the name of the game is running the football. If Devontae Freeman can get 15 or 20 carries today, I think we're successful. And EJ needs to come out and have a similar game like he did last week, error-free. If he can keep with 0 turnovers, no interceptions, I like our chances today.
I agree with you. I agree with all those statements. I think the one thing maybe we don't talk about so often is just avoid the injuries. If we can get through today unscathed, you got to like our chances the rest of the season.
Absolutely right. The Seminoles have been decimated by really, and not just 1 or 2 quarter injuries. We're talking season-ending injuries. The injury last week to Jacoby McDaniel, where he separated his ankle. I mean, these are horrible injuries. The Seminoles have had enough. We paid enough prices. It's time to have a healthy football game today. And you're right. It all starts here today. The Seminoles have an opportunity still to finish this season at 9-3. But as Jimbo Fisher said all week long, all they're looking at is just getting out of the weekend 1-0.
Kickoff is at 3:30 p.m. televised nationally on ABC. Parts of the country you might be able to see on ESPN2. Ryan will be on the Seminole IMG Sports Network on the radio all throughout the game. A little bit different. Gene Deckerhoff will be gone for the second half. Tom Block will take over. And, of course, follow us here on Seminoles.com live game chat, Facebook, Twitter, and plenty of post-game coverage, including the live press conference with head coach Jimbo Fisher. For Ryan Pensy, I'm Scott Kotick. Go Noles. We'll see you after the game.